In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a GoPro on the front of your surfboard using a fin plug mount. It was inspired by this wave. A photographer friend of mine, Kevin Rom, and I were trying to get an angle of a GoPro inside a barrel, but we used a suction cup mount, and on this wave, in the wipeout, the suction cup and the GoPro got ripped right off the board. You can see the GoPro on the front of the board there as I took off, and it's only being held on by a suction cup. And as I pull into the barrel, the force of the water ripped the GoPro right off the board, and I had a long swim in to try and recover the GoPro, and luckily I found it in the white water. So we had to come up with a better plan not to lose the GoPro, and it turns out the fin plug mount with the leash plug to stop it from getting lost is the best way to go. And as you can see from some stills from some recent sessions, you really get some great images from this type of setup. These stills were edited by Kevin Rom, and they are just frame grabs from some recent sessions that went down this last winter. To get the setup, I went to my shaper Spider Murphy at Safari Surfboards, and he put in a single fin plug as well as a leash plug mount into the nose of the board. So they had to drill a hole and fiberglass those two pieces in order to hold the GoPro in place. To get these type of shots, this is the type of equipment that you're going to need. You're going to need your GoPro, a GoPro housing, a floaty, GoPro fin mount, a fin key, a screw for the GoPro, a string, and a star screwdriver. The main thing that makes this all work is the fin mount component that goes into the GoPro, and it clips into the GoPro like a normal mount, and the other part goes into the surfboard. Here's how I put the whole thing together and into the surfboard itself. So take the GoPro and put it together with its housing. The GoPro clips into the housing and it fits nice and snug inside there. It's a protective cover so that the GoPro doesn't get damaged. So that all just clips together. And then that unit goes into the orange floaty. That orange floaty, nice and bright, so that if the GoPro does get lost, it'll float to the surface and you'll see it easily. So the GoPro with its little mount and its protective cover fits nice and snug inside there. The rest of this equipment we'll only use once we put it on the actual board, but just to show you, the GoPro fits into that fin plug mount like a normal clip-in. The only problem is the floaty doesn't allow you to get the screw in correctly, so that's where you need your star screwdriver to screw the screw in correctly. It gives you a little bit of extra length in order to screw it in. And then this is a piece of string that will go onto that leash plug component. Should the fin plug come out, at least you won't lose your GoPro. The way I put it all together is to start with the leash plug. So essentially this is a little leash for the GoPro, and I take that like a normal surfboard leash and you loop it through the leash plug like you normally would with a leash, and then the other end is going to go around the GoPro itself. So this is to protect the GoPro so you don't lose it. It's an extra security measure, just so that if it does come out the fin plug, you're not going to lose your expensive GoPro. Then you take the fin plug component, there it is there, and that goes into your normal fin plug mount. It pops in straight in like that, and then you're going to need to use an Allen key in order to tighten it up. So you're going to tighten the grub screw with your normal fin key. Any normal fin key or Allen key of that size will work, and you tighten it up nice and tight so that that mount won't come out the board. So you've got the mount and you've got its little leash that goes with it. Then you take the GoPro and you want to put the little leash section around the bottom there, because that's going to screw to the mount, and you tighten that up so you get it in there. You can use any kind of string as long as it's waterproof and it's not going to break. Then once the GoPro is lined up like that, you want to take the GoPro screw and tighten the whole thing together. You don't want to over tighten it because it can crack these plastic components. So you use your star screwdriver to get in there and start tightening it. Because of the floaty, it does make it a little bit more difficult than normal to tighten that screw. So just turn it over so you can see it, and you tighten the screw and give it a couple of turns, not too tight. I have cracked those plastic components before, so you want to just keep tightening until it can't really move anymore. You'll feel if it's very, very loose. You still want to be able to adjust it because, as I'll tell you in a sec, you're going to want to get the angle right of the GoPro in relation to you standing on the board. So this is what it looks like once it's complete. The GoPro is attached to the board with the fin plug. It's got its little leash in case it pops out of there. You're not going to lose it completely, and it's sitting quite far up towards the nose of the board and facing you as you're paddling or surfing, and that's what it looks like complete on the board. This next section is key to getting good video or photographs from your GoPro of you surfing, and it's the angle that the GoPro sits on the board. If it's too low, you're going to get all feet, and if it's too high, you're only going to see your head and the sky. So you need to adjust it. Have a look, switch the GoPro on, perhaps put your surfboard on a carpet without the fins, stand on your board, and then have somebody have a look at the back of the board, or have a look at the image on your phone and adjust it so that you get yourself in the full frame. I find a longer board works best. This is a 6/8, this particular board. The shorter the board, the closer the GoPro is to you, and often it doesn't get the whole person in the frame. So around a 6/8 length surfboard and upwards is ideal. So once you've set everything up, this is hopefully what your footage from your GoPro is going to look like. This is away from last winter. I managed to actually get a barrel on this first wave using this GoPro. And if you have a look at the footage itself, look at the angle of the GoPro. You can't see much of the surfboard. So the surf is in full frame, and as I'm crouching down, there is a little bit of space above my head, but you don't see too much of the surfboard. If you compare that to this next clip, you'll see we actually angled the GoPro down a bit more, so you can see the Safari Surfboard logo, you can see the O'Neill sticker, and you're seeing a lot more of the board. So by just tweaking the angle ever so slightly, it gives you quite a different perspective of the surfer on the surfboard. And if you have a look here, you're seeing a lot more board. When you crouch down, you're seeing the whole surfer, but then you compromise the top of the picture, and you risk sometimes chopping some of that off. So I hope you learned something. Good luck putting your GoPro together on your surfboard. Thank you to my friend Kevin Rom, and thank you for watching.